The rat race isn't just a job you hate, it's a system built to keep you spending exactly as fast as you earn. Every raise gets absorbed before it lands: a bigger apartment, a newer car, a subscription you forgot you had. Economists call it lifestyle creep. Most Americans call it just how life works. Here's the part nobody says out loud. The system doesn't need you to be poor. It needs you to feel like you're one purchase away from finally arriving. That feeling is the engine. As long as it's running, you keep working, keep spending, keep refreshing your bank app hoping the number moved. The average American household carries thousands of dollars in revolving credit card debt, much of it tied not to emergencies, but to maintaining an image. A certain kind of car, a certain kind of vacation, a certain kind of kitchen. None of it is illegal, none of it is even irrational. It's just expensive and it's invisible until you add it up. And the trap has a second layer: comparison. You're not just spending to be comfortable, you're spending to keep pace with a version of normal you see on your phone 40 times a day. Neighbors, coworkers, people you've never met, all appearing to live one tier above wherever you currently are. That gap is manufactured, but the pressure it creates is real. So the rat race isn't a place, it's a habit loop. Earn, spend to signal, feel behind, earn more, spend again. Most people run this loop for decades without ever naming it. They just call it adulting or keeping up, or that's just what things cost now. The people who escape it don't earn some secret income nobody else has access to. In most cases, they don't even earn dramatically more than their neighbors. What they changed wasn't the income side of the equation, it was the signaling side. They stopped paying rent on an image they never actually wanted to maintain. That's the pivot point, and it's where the actual escape begins. Here's the counterintuitive part. The people who get out of the rat race first usually look like they're falling behind. The car gets older, not newer. The apartment doesn't get upgraded when the raise comes in. The vacations get smaller, or disappear, or become, we drove somewhere and camped instead of a resort. From the outside, it can look like struggle. It isn't. It's the exact opposite. It's the moment someone stopped funding an image and started funding a number. Because here's the math nobody explains clearly. Every dollar not spent on signaling status is a dollar that compounds. A car payment redirected into an index fund for 15 years isn't just save money. It becomes a second income stream that never asks you to show up for a shift. A skipped kitchen renovation becomes a paid-off mortgage 5 years early. None of this requires a six-figure salary. It requires a decision to stop performing wealth in order to actually build it. There's a specific psychological shift that happens here, and it's the real engine of the escape. The goal stops being, look successful to people around me, and becomes, be unaffected by what happens to people around me. Job loss, inflation, a medical bill, none of it hits the same when there's a cushion nobody knew you were building because you never advertised the plan in the first place. This is why the escape is quiet, almost by definition. The moment you announce you're doing this, social pressure creeps back in. People expect updates, comparisons, proof. The people who actually get out tend to just stop talking about money in terms of image and start talking about it, if at all, in terms of numbers. Net worth, interest rates, time horizons, not brands. It's not deprivation, it's redirection. The money was never the object. It was always going somewhere. The only thing that changed is where. You've probably met someone like this without realizing it. Here are the patterns that tend to repeat. Sign one, the car doesn't match the paycheck. Not because they can't afford new, because a car is a depreciating asset and they've done that math. A 10-year-old, well-maintained sedan owned outright says more about someone's financial position than a leased SUV ever will. It just doesn't say it loudly. Sign two, they rarely know the trending thing, not out of superiority, out of disinterest. Trends require constant reinvestment of attention and often money to keep up with. People focused on long-term numbers tend to opt out of that cycle entirely simply because it doesn't serve the goal. Sign three, they underreact to purchases other people are excited about. New phone, new gadget, new restaurant everyone's posting about, met with a shrug, not judgment. It's not that they disapprove. It's that the dopamine hit of keeping up stopped registering for them a long time ago. Sign four, they know their numbers, not their image. Ask a status-driven spender what they make and you'll get a vague answer. Ask someone in this group about their savings rate, their interest rate, their timeline to a goal, and you'll often get a surprisingly specific one. The information they track shifted from how does this look to where does this stand. Sign five, their spending has almost no audience. A vacation nobody photographs, a paid-off debt nobody announces, a retirement account nobody mentions at dinner. If the transaction has no witnesses, that's usually a signal it wasn't made for anyone else's benefit, which statistically is exactly the kind of spending that tends to actually build wealth. None of these signs are dramatic. That's the entire point. The escape doesn't look like a headline. It looks like nothing happening at all for years on purpose. The core mechanism here isn't budgeting, it's the removal of an audience. Almost all high visibility spending exists to answer a question nobody asked out loud. Am I doing okay? The car, the vacation, the renovation, they're not just purchases, they're proof aimed at an audience that's mostly imagined. Neighbors who aren't actually keeping score. Coworkers who forget your outfit 5 minutes after seeing it. An algorithm that rewards the appearance of a life, not the life itself. Once someone removes that imagined audience, stops spending to answer a question nobody was asking, the entire cost structure of their life changes without their income changing at all. This is why two people earning the exact same salary can end up in completely different financial positions 10 years later. The gap isn't talent, it's audience. There's also a stability effect that compounds over time. People who spend for signaling tend to feel financially fragile even at high incomes because their expenses rise in lockstep with their earnings. There's no gap where security can form. People who spend privately tend to feel secure even at modest incomes because the gap between what they earn and what they need is where the actual freedom lives. And this is the part that explains the quiet in quiet wealth. Broadcasting the plan invites social pressure to justify it, defend it, or abandon it. Silence protects the strategy from outside interference, including often well-meaning family members who don't understand why someone with enough money is still driving that same old car. If any of this sounds familiar, if you've ever felt a little embarrassed about how unimpressive your car looks, or quietly relieved that nobody asks about your savings account, that's not a coincidence. That's often what this actually looks like from the inside. Before anyone has a name for it, the people who escape the rat race rarely see themselves as doing anything special. They just stopped answering a question nobody was really asking. And over years, that one shift, redirecting money that used to fund an image into money that funds a future, is the entire difference between staying in the loop and quietly stepping out of it. Which of these 5 signs hit closest to home for you? Let me know below.